Welcome back to Science. I'm your host, Boston PhD. Joining me as always is Dr. Moon.
Hello.
And Monkey DDS.
Yo.
We are here to rank Everspace, our most recently completed roguelike, which thankfully actually turned out to be a roguelike this time. Hooray!
Yep.
Unlike some of the games on this list. But if this is the first ranking you're joining us, we're going to add Everspace to our giant, infallible list of the best roguelikes of all time. Currently number one, Hand of Fate. We'll see if Everspace can beat it. Probably the only thing that will beat it is Hand of Fate 2, which we have not yet gotten to. If you're watching the video version, over here on the right, you'll see the Trello list of all the games. If you're listening to the audio version, we'll go over it. Let's go over what we thought about the game and ask the question, will you keep playing it? Start, as always, with you, Monkey Senior.
All right. This is a really good game. Like,
yeah,
I don't usually play like space games, right? But like this, yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was a really good roguelike. It actually had a fairly interesting story. Like, you're at the beginning, you're just this amnesiac, and then you find out you're a clone, and then once you get to the lab, you find out you have to kill yourself, basically.
Yep.
Right.
Kill versions of yourself to become whole, I guess. That's
yes.
Right? Yeah. I don't know.
You have to stabilize your DNA, which is a sentence I never thought I'd hear on this podcast.
Right.
Yeah, like it's like every run I really enjoyed, even the ones that like didn't really go anywhere. I was doing okay in, and of course this is on easy. Like the few normal runs I've had, it gets pretty hard. Like that.
Yeah,
that's such a cool thing about this game. Like at every run you can choose easy, normal, hard, and easy is like pretty easy. Normal is hard, so how is hard? We don't even know.
I never even tried. Yeah.
What else? This game is it's a very pretty game. I was playing on the 4K or the what is it? The
XX?
Yeah. Like not the performance setting, but the prettier setting, and yeah. It made my game crash a couple of times, but it was
totally worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Like, that is I will not bemoan this game crashing especially when it's doing explosions in space, which it does really, really well. And I did get framey every now and again.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I learn from Monkey's mistake. If it's something big, look away.
Yeah.
Like, just look away.
Do the movie
I'm
thing.
not going to bemoan
walk away from the explosion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about it too much because, like, just how good everything in this game looks. Like, I don't even think we've really talked about how beautiful it is when you get close to a sun and you know you're about to die really slowly and you've got to get out of there as quickly as you can. That looks incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, and not to mention the enhancements part of it. That's super cool. Like the stuff you get from the ancients, and then the colonial ship things.
Whatever they are, the blueprint things or whatever they are.
Like that's Like there's so much in this game, and it's really, really well put together.
Yeah.
You
gonna keep playing it?
Will I keep playing it? I want to say yes. I'll definitely keep it installed. I would like to complete the story, whatever, just to see what might happen in the second one, because I really want to play that after playing this.
Oh yeah.
All
right, Moon, what are your final thoughts here on Everspace?
Oh, this is incredible. Like, here's a fun fact. When I added this to the list of games recommended for Game Club lists, It was on Game Pass at the time.
Mm.
I thought when I recommended it, I had purchased this game. I hadn't. It was just installed and had been taken off Game Pass by the time I actually got to it. And I have zero problems saying, yo, this game is $30. Go and pay $30 for this game. Like,
Yep.
Genuinely a masterclass of roguelikes. They've taken the best like inspiration from other games and blended them in really well. Like Monkey said, like the little additional feature of like the ancient symbols and the colony upgrades, like let you make the run easier and harder depending on how you feel on any given particular run. It's got loadout options, so you can start with different types, whichever weapons or skills suit you. Like, there is so much customizability. I mean, we didn't even talk once in 4 weeks about the fact that you can pick up new paint jobs.
Yeah, new decals. Yeah.
Like,
love it.
We didn't mention that at all because the gameplay was just taking us away from everything. It's like, yeah, now I've got green and purple ship because, spoiler alert, green is my favorite color, purple is my wife's. So every game I get a choice in, green and purple. Plus, they complement each other pretty well on the color scale. So,
right.
Like, there's so much going for this game. And the fact that this is a Kickstarter is number one. Good on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Kickstarter success, and then as well to say, we're going to use the same kind of concept and make it a Diablo-style loot game in space instead of a roguelike.
Right. Oh, no, my weakness.
It's like, okay, so you're just hitting on everything you can from everybody. Like,
yeah.
That's where we're going here, and I don't have a problem with it. Like, bring it on. Like,
yeah,
bring on Everspace 2 and seeing the flying for space interplanetary orbits in the trailer for that thing is just like, oh, cool, now I'm on a desert planet. Oh, cool, now I'm on a water planet. Oh, cool, this game's great.
And now on the next-gen consoles, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Enhanced for Series X/PlayStation 5.
Right. Right.
I will 100% keep playing this. I still haven't installed. I'm going to slowly but surely chip away at those achievements because some of them are a bit grindy. Like, for example, fully upgrade your ship. Okay.
Just going to be a while.
Yeah. Fully collect all of the ancient things and the more difficult one, the colonial things. Like, you've got to collect both of them, every single one of them for an achievement. And it's like, I'm cool with that. I got whatever it was, 1001% on Isaac. I have no problem spending a year playing this once a month to get to that point.
Right.
Like, I adore this game. I'm so glad that Monkey made the controller C suggestion because that was
control
a game changer. I'd still love it. I don't think I'd love it as much.
Yeah.
Like, this game is great.
Yeah, without that controller scheme, I think I would just be getting dizzy every single time I play.
Right. I don't really have too much to add on top of that. That's sort of the curse of going last, is that you guys nailed it. This game is really great. I probably won't continue playing it, mostly because I have been captured by something else recently that I would like to potentially 100%. And I don't want to burn myself out on this because I feel like I'd rather get in on the ground floor in Everspace 2 and kind of hit that one really hard. Mostly because, hey, space flying games are really good, and I haven't played one in a really long time. So, and Moonpier, don't you dare say Elite Dangerous. Gotcha.
I'm not saying anything, but, you know, thematically, Moon's drinking from my Elite Dangerous mug today.
Yeah. So not that I don't want to continue playing it, it's just that I don't want to play it enough to get burnt out. And Everspace 2 comes out and it's like, oh god, more space flying? I'd rather, especially on the newer consoles, like I want one of those showpieces, and I have a feeling that Everspace 2 is going to be that. So, yeah, Everspace is really great. I managed to get it and the expansion on PS4 for $12. It was on sale. That was a steal because Encounters DLC is really good. So yeah, if we haven't convinced you yet, one more plea: just go play Everspace, Control Scheme C, put it on easy, go have fun. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move over to our giant list, the actual ranking here. We decided pre-show that this is probably a top 10 candidate, so I'm going to bring it over here on the list just above Darkest Dungeon, and I will say, is Everspace better than Solitarica?
Yeah.
The old Solitarica.
Yeah. Solitarica is good. It doesn't have a gunship.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'll
Just
agree
the
with that.
scope of Everspace is just that much bigger than Solitarica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff in Everspace, it's crazy. Is Everspace better than 20XX?
Yes, run by run. Everspace wipes the floor with 20XX. You got the character you liked in 20XX, you knew what armor and stuff you liked to pick up, you knew the weapons that you liked, and that's it. And you never, ever, ever deviated from what you liked in 20XX. It was, this is the thing I'm successful with, this is the thing I will stick with. Yeah. Whereas Everspace, every time I saw a new gun, I was like, ooh, what's it do? And then I'd transfer it out, see what I did, and decide if I liked it more or less. And then I got really annoyed when I found guns that I couldn't use on the gun ship. I was like, now I have to play as the stupid little ship so I can try this gun out.
Yeah. Okay, I'll agree with that. Is Everspace better than The Legend of Bumbo?
Boston, you go first.
I think for me, that's a pretty easy yes. I think Bumbo is solid, but I think the overall scope of Everspace is so much bigger. Mm-hmm. I like that Bumbo has a huge difference between each individual character, but I feel like the difference between the normal starting ship and praise be His Majesty the gunship, that's a significant change, and there's basically a new skill tree for each ship. I think that on top of everything else makes it really right. And I felt like when I wasn't playing Everspace, I was thinking about it, and this is the first time I've thought about Bumbo in a while.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah. Okay. Is Everspace better than Nuclear Throne?
Yes. Because Everspace can get chaotic. Go watch Monkey's clips on Twitter if you're not aware of just how chaotic it can get.
Moving at warp 5.
Yes. Or accidentally shooting a G&B and getting destroyed in 2 seconds flat.
Right.
Everspace can get chaotic, but at no point was it not crystal clear to me exactly what was going on. I always knew exactly what my situation was and what the situation around me was. I hit a few asteroids. That's my fault for not paying that much attention to going backwards every now and again.
Right.
But Nuclear Throne, when things pop off in that game, I'm just shooting and then hoping I don't die because I literally cannot see anything that's going on.
Your brain shuts down. It's like, this is survival mode. We just got to get through it. Whoops, I'm done.
Especially the boss in the ice area. Like, you're just like, oh
Jesus. Yeah, I'm not making it through. Yeah. I would agree. I think Everspace should go above. Is Everspace better than Dicey Dungeons? This one's hard for me because I like Dicey Dungeons a lot. I think it's a really solid roguelike.
Yeah. I think Dicey's improvement over Everspace comes in its writing. I do think Dicey is written fantastically well. Like, the jokes are really well done. Like, the character, the monster design is fantastic.
Yes.
I know you're thinking about the mermaid with the iPhone. Stop it.
I am, yeah.
I think Everspace goes above it just because Dicey does those two things really well, where I'm finding it hard to put places where Everspace does bad things. Like, genuinely where it puts a foot wrong, it's very difficult to think of.
I think for me, comparing the two, I think the one thing that Dicey Dungeons, and I think this was a complaint of ours when we were playing it on the show, is that Dicey would do really well with having a mode, I know you can unlock it later, but like a mode that's just do a run of this character. Just do a random roguelike run of this character and just give me the random stuff, as opposed to having this level-based structure that I know opens up in like the last level of each character, but sometimes you just want to do the Isaac thing where it's like, I'm picking random and I'm picking my difficulty and just figure it out. Just give me something. I feel like that's where Everspace, especially with the variety of its environments when you're hopping from sector to sector and like individual node to node, I feel like that's where, for me, it ekes out Dicey Dungeons just a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing of like run over run. Everspace is more varied, I guess. Like, yeah.
And you have like more traditional roguelike runs as opposed to sort of challenges. Okay, is Everspace better than Risk of Rain?
Yes, because Everspace didn't lie to me.
That's right. Put this on the record. Never once did Everspace lie to us.
But on a more serious like side of it, I think it is. I think Risk of Rain is a great game. I genuinely do. Risk of Rain taught me play things on easy mode. Like, that's what Risk of Rain taught me. Get your unlock.
That served us well for Everspace.
Because you kind of need to. I think conceptually, Risk of Rain is conceptually a better game than Everspace. Because that whole longer you spend on the level, the tougher the enemies get. Like, that's a really,
it's a great system.
Good idea. It's really good.
Yep.
I think it's probably executed a little bit better in the little I've played of Risk of Rain 2.
I would agree, yeah.
And I think the difficulty spike in Risk of Rain 1, especially with the unlocks, is so mean. Like, it's just mean. Yeah. And maybe if you're a Nuclear Throne fan and, you know, an original Rogue fan, then that's exactly what you're looking for.
Risk of Rain, this is easy.
Well,
yeah.
It's the Black Sea Odyssey problem. People played the crap out of it in early access, and it got so hard because that's what those people were looking for, that when it comes out to be a real game, nobody else can play it.
Right.
Like, and I think conceptually Risk of Rain is a better game. I think Everspace executes it that much better, though.
Interesting. Okay. You agree, Monkey?
I think Everspace goes over Risk of Rain because I guess item variety, I guess. Like in Everspace, I found myself using everything, really. Like, and anything that, or any time I didn't have something in one of my slots, I was like, okay, let me see what this random thing I picked up does. And like, I was like, oh, this is cool. Let me use it. And then in Risk of Rain, like all the items, or a lot of the items, just upped your stats, if I remember correctly. Like, except,
or it's like now you shoot faster, now you do a little more damage. It's your base equipment is
right. Like there was a few different items, right? And like the ukulele, or was it electric ukulele or something like that?
That like that classic one.
It a little bit, but like, and yes, like you have each of the characters and they each play fairly different from each other, but like, I don't know, I felt myself doing a lot more in Everspace, I guess.
Sure, that makes sense, yeah. Okay. I'll put above. Is Everspace better than Void Bastards?
Hold up.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you were a no on that last one.
No, I think you guys this. I think you guys convinced me. I think the thing that really pushed me over that I agree with, I love Risk of Rain. It's one of my favorite roguelikes of all time.
This is why I was curious, because I know that out of all three of us, you are the staunch Risk of Rain defender.
Yeah.
All three of us.
And I think Monkey, you pushed me over by talking about the I think you're right that Risk of Rain has a ton of characters and they are all vastly different from each other, but the kind of core playstyle and like the core weapon or attack method for each character is pretty static, no matter how far or crazy a run gets. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of Everspace is even if you start with the loadout you like, where you sort of start run over run with a static gunship that you like, you're going to be picking up cool stuff that you have out there. You're going to be making cool stuff out of the little bits and bobs you're picking up. And I think for me, that pushes it over Risk of Rain from sort of a design standpoint. I would rather personally play Risk of Rain over Everspace if I was just like wanted to do a run of something. But I don't think that necessarily makes it a better game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is Everspace better than Void Bastards? This one's tough.
Yeah.
This one is.
I think it is a better roguelike because you start from the very beginning of Everspace.
Yeah.
If Void Bastards,
Right.
you start, or whenever you die, you start at the ship you died at.
Right.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Everspace isn't punishing you for doing that because you're upgrading your skill tree, you're using the stuff you earned on your run, which I guess Void Bastards doesn't really do because you're starting a new prisoner as opposed to starting a new run.
Yeah, I think you get like the same, like you still keep the same weapon upgrades, I think, but then you still have to do the whole ID card BS and then everything.
Yeah, your
else
like
that.
skill and weapon tree stays the same, but that's
about
it.
Although Void Bastards is really cool with the different prisoners, like having different.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the fun thing where it's like, all right, I've found the prisoner with a really great combination of skills, or I like use the DNA machine to get rid of the coughing one, which is always terrible. And I feel like I've got a really good run going. And when that run ends, that feels so not punishing. It just like it tears your heart out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it goes above Void Bastards. And it's nothing against Void Bastards. I enjoy playing Everspace more. Like, I am a space nut. I like my ace combats. I like my elite dangerouses. Shock of shocks. I like Everspace. Who would have thunk it? Who suggested this again? Oh, that's right. It was me. Like, for me, I like Void Bastards, but it's got a great presentation. Like, I think its presentation is great. But on a personal note, for me, Void Bastards is a lot of style over substance. Like, it's a very stylish game. It looks great. It animates great. I love the fact that it's one woman doing 50 different monster designs for the voices. Or, like, saying things in the Scottish accent just to make things really confusing. Like,
yeah.
I think it's fantastically presented. I think Everspace has a better loop.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think for me, Everspace goes over this. And I think part of it is I think run over run. Void Bastards, you're building on this foundation, sort of run over run, and you're kind of tweaking your tools and your abilities to get further down and like take on more difficult ships. But I think there's something about Everspace that I think puts it over Void Bastards for me. And I also like Void Bastards a whole lot. I think it was on my top 10 last year.
I think it was.
So like, I like it a lot, but I think Everspace gels together with itself really well. It's a very cohesive package. What do you think, Monkey?
Yeah, I think Everspace goes over Void Bastards.
All right, is Everspace better than Dead Cells?
Now the knives come out.
I'll go first. This is where it stops for me. I think Dead Cells. I can maybe be convinced, but I think Dead Cells has that run over run variety, especially the more stuff you start unlocking, where it's like, all right, these two things that you get to pick from, 2 out of the 3 things you get to pick from the beginning, gonna get some real weird stuff there right at the beginning, and I think Dead Cells has a bit more variety, even though you're only playing as one character technically. I think the variety there and the variety of different pathways you can go down, and I think all of that is just a little bit stronger than Everspace for me.
Okay.
I think the same.
It's really tough.
Yeah. I just lost what I was gonna say.
Dead Cells doesn't have Control Scheme C. I mean, that's a knock against it.
I do think Dead Cells beats out Everspace. I just can't put it into words right now.
So I can. I can probably help you with this.
Okay.
So for me, Everspace goes above Dead Cells. I will say that, but that's a preference thing. I prefer 3-dimensional space shooting to 2-dimensional Metroidvanias. This is a genre that we have explored, even talking about this list right here. But I can say, put my hand on the wooden table and my face and say, I think no matter where it sits, 3 or 4, I would say definitely the top 4 wherever this goes, which, let's face it, it's going to go 4th. I think the argument could be made that every single one of those 4 is a perfect roguelike within its own constraints, including Everspace.
I feel like the top 5 is like all must-play games. It's like, if you like this genre or you're interested in this genre, here are 5 incredible titles for you to play.
And the best thing is, look at the genres. You've got a deck-building game with a character action fighting combat sequence. You've got a rhythm-based action game. You've got a Metroidvania. You've got an old school, like, Doom-style first-person shooter. You've got a 2D side-scrolling, like, jump up and down, like, Super Mario Brothers with guns kind of thing. And you've got a space sim, essentially. Like, that's 6 different games that, in my opinion, all perfectly execute on what they're trying to do.
Yes.
They're not perfect games, but I think they are executed as perfectly as they can be within the constraints that each game has.
Right. Okay. Well, it sounds like that might be our number 4 then. I think it's sort of settled in here in the 3/4 slot.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's really hard to, or they're really close, I guess, in this ranking.
Yeah, it's definitely in top 5, but like it's one of those things where it's like, if you'd ask us next week, it'd be like, oh yeah, number 3 for sure. But it's now set in stone. So our top 5 here: Void Bastards in number 5, Everspace number 4, Dead Cells in 3, Crypt of the Necrodancer number 2, and Hand of Fate still sitting top of the pile, as it should be, and number 1. Thank you so much, everyone, for this was a super long episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next run. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.